Conversation, guys. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. So do this video while the kids are napping. Anyways, um, first I want to, do all this chaos over the last 3 or 4 days as it relates to the welterweight division. We're forgetting Keith Thurman is a bad motherfucker, right? And he earned the right. It's the WBC. He earned it. He beat Shawn Porter, went through hell to beat Shawn Porter, and he beat Danny Garcia. And I don't want that to get convoluted in the message in which we want moving forward. Keith Thurman is the best welterweight in the world, based off of his resume. People say Earl Spence, but it's based off of what you foresee. But what they have done today, Keith Thurman is the #1 welterweight in the world. Now, where the discontention comes from is, or where the tension comes from, the discontent, excuse me, comes from Keith Thurman not substantiating himself and attempting to make his gap a little bit wider in the welterweight division. That is fighting the #1 contender, #2 contender, #3 contender, whoever he may be. And he's taken on this this different bravado, like a sense of entitlement. And it's kind of not cool, because the Keith Thurman that I absolutely loved and adored, covering this guy, I've covered shit. Man, he fought in LA, he fought in Vegas. I've covered a lot of his fights, and I've interviewed him. I mean, too many times to count. And I liked him, but what I don't like about Keith Thurman is the sense of entitlement that he has now. He's relishing in having all the salmon swim upstream. You understand what I'm saying? He's relishing in him watching on his throne, watching all the peasants down in the valley. And I don't like that about him. I think even if they wanted to do it, his team should create better language, right? Better language. What that language can be, I'll have to think about that. I don't want to stumble over it right now, but the better language, like what he should have said is, Shawn Porter, fight Danny Garcia, I'll fight the winner. You know how fast that propels the welterweight division? That takes 6 months off our timeline. Shit, maybe 9 months if there's an injury involved. Shit, maybe a year. You know what I'm saying? At the rate where these guys are fighting. And but minimum 6 months. Everything could be solved by September 2019. If Keith Thurman came out and said, Danny Garcia, fight Shawn Porter, I'll fight the winner. Makes a whole lot of sense. But from a business perspective, he probably wouldn't want to do that, because he gets 2 rematches and at an absorbent amount of pay in terms of what he's making, and he has every right to do so. I heard 78's video, and he said he's a business, and yeah, he definitely believes he's a business, and I see nothing wrong with him thinking he's a business. But when you change your stripes in the middle of the race, you understand what I'm saying? It's hard. It's hard to be trusted. And like, he was a great interview, man. High intensity, very alpha, boisterous, loud, confident, huge bravado. And he always had although he was all these adjectives, he was always inviting. He was always welcoming to the media, and he still is. I mean, he gave us 45 minutes. What two belt holder in any division will give you 45 minutes? So I mean, for that, he deserves a round of applause, and that's not sarcasm. That's not whether he agreed or disagreed with me. I'm truly humbled. I use the word humbled specifically, that he would give us 45 minutes. You understand what I'm saying? He had every right to leave. He had every right to go behind him and grab him something to eat. He had every right to talk to his team. He had every right to talk to Stephen Espinoza, the media person, whoever he wanted to talk to. He had every right to get up at any point after about 10 or 15 minutes and do what he liked to do. So for that, I'm humbled, and I say thank you. Now, moving forward, Keith Thurman, you are the baddest man at 147. All right, he is number one. All right, 2 of the 4 belts, and 2 of the 4 belts agree. The WBC and the WBA agree. So just on sheer quantity, he is the number 1 welterweight in the world. How about Keith Thurman? Say this. Go to your Instagram, go to your Twitter, and say, if Danny Garcia fights Shawn Porter, I will fight the winner by the end of 2018. That makes sense, because you're going to fight Victor Ortiz, Devin Alexander. You're going to fight one of these guys in May, you know, and it makes sense. It makes sense for you to fight either of the two. It was a draw. I didn't watch the fight, but I was watching the fight while I was actually interviewing Keith Thurman. It was on the TV up top, but I couldn't really focus because, you know, I was so in tune with what Keith was what Keith was telling the media. And so I watched it maybe 10 seconds at a time, and it looked like Devin Alexander was winning when I was watching 10 seconds at a time. So Devin Alexander makes sense at the Barclay in a main event. It makes a whole that definitely makes sense. And you probably put, oh, Gerald Miller is already fighting in April, so that can't happen. But you know, you put the Polish guy, the heavyweight, on that card. He's from Long Island, I believe. And him and Marcus Brown. You put Marcus Brown and the Polish heavyweight champion on that card, on the Keith Thurman card. And you got the 2 New York big-timers. Marcus Brown is a big-time New York prospect. And Kowinski is the heavyweight that just won. Put him on that card too. And, you know, and you put the other guy, fight got canceled when I was in New York, the Mayweather Promotions kid. I think he's going to be a star. Shucks, what's his name? The 140 guy. Duchess. I forget the guy's name, but he's going to be a star one day. His fight was canceled on the Earl Spence card. But, God, I'm looking dead at him. It'll come to me. So, how about we tweet this to Keith Thurman? Because we have to create a process. We have to create a freeway to get to our destination. We have to create an interstate. All right. We can't just wake up and say, Keith Thurman, fight Earl Spence. I mean, in our imaginations is realistic. In reality, it's not reality. All right. So we have to create a navigation system to get to a unification bout. All right. And before the harsh reality is, in order for us to get to Terrence Crawford, we have to clear out PBC. All right. It's no way, and all of you guys will agree, whether you want to accept it, whether you want to smile at it, you're going to settle what's in-house before you go what's outside the house, right? Right? And that's just a reality. PBC has all these fighters at the welterweight division. They can create fights for the next 2 or maybe 3 years before we even get to Terrence Crawford, which makes sense, right? Because it's a double-edged sword. It's a business move, and it makes Terrence Crawford reconsider when his contract is over. I don't know when his contract is over, but maybe he will get a buyout like Jesse Vargas. I don't know if Jesse Vargas had a buyout, but he got out of his contract at Top Rank, and maybe it forces the hand to Terrence Crawford to move over. So anyways, man, these are just ideas, but let's create a navigation system for Keith Thurman. Let's help him. As media members, as fans, let's help him get to where we want him to go. All right. Now, I think that's a great idea. Keith Thurman tweets out, Instagrams out, does an interview, and says, I will fight the winner of Danny Garcia, Shawn Porter. I wish I would have thought of that Saturday when I had him, and see what his answer is. So anyways, man, barbershop conversations, man. Feel free to hit the subscribe button, and talk to you guys soon. Peace.